What's up, guys? Welcome to Covers' NHL Props with Jingles and Coco, where one of us is a former first-round NHL draft pick, and the other one is me. I'm your co-host, Josh Ingles, betting analyst for Covers.com, and joined by 14-year NHL vet and NHL analyst Carlo Colaiacovo. What's up, Coco?
What's up, my man? Jingles, it is a fun place to be here today on the show with you, man. Lots to get into, lots of fun to have. Let's rock.
And we get to start off, obviously, with the Leafs. Seattle at Toronto. Seattle plus 220. Toronto minus 270. Now, Toronto played last night in Columbus, which is a big deal. We had bad weather. What is that road trip like, going from Columbus, coming back to Toronto, getting in late as the home team?
Well, it's obviously a lot better feeling when you win, right?
Yeah.
Leafs coming off a big win against Columbus last night, returning home. Look, things haven't been so home cooking for the Leafs since fans have been back into the stadium, but I feel like tonight is a prime spot to give the fans exactly what they're looking for. They've already played Seattle, pretty recently. They had a very good result there. They had a couple of breakouts, performances by a lot of their stars, and I expect the same thing tonight.
Yeah, and I think we're both in agreement that we like goals in this game, as both teams are in the bottom five in save percentage over the last 30 days. The only difference is Toronto has 14 wins over that stretch, which means the offense is equaling the goals they're allowing. So, Toronto, obviously, what angle do we have? And it's no surprise, what angle do we have in a betting aspect looking at this Leafs team tonight in the prop markets?
Well, it's surprise, surprise. I mean, you've got to find the things that are hot, and the Maple Leafs have a hot line. They're on a heat wave. I mean, you talk about a line led by the best goal scorer in the game right now, Austin Matthews, who, by the way, scored his 40th goal last night. And I think this is a prime opportunity for him to hit the score sheet again, the goal score sheet, because, I mean, it's almost an automatic. If you think of me, like, in a game against a team like the Seattle Kraken, who is playing like an expansion team, who has given up a lot of goals lately, how do you not like Austin Matthews' chance to score a goal tonight? And I think you're getting great value at it as well.
Yeah, and that price jumps over the board. I've seen it as good as minus 125. But like you said,
that's a great value for Matthews to score. Only 25
100%.
cents.
Yeah,
you hit it every time you see it that way.
And we know Seattle's just had no luck in the goaltending department. Philip Grubauer has been one of statistically the worst goalies in the league. And this team is hot. And the cool thing about Matthews is they're always in attack mode because they're giving up a ton of goals. So right. Sheldon has to continue to rely on that top line. Second line hasn't been producing. Bumped Robertson up. That, you know what I mean? Even defensively, they might lose minutes after some poor shifts.
Well, here's the thing, Josh, is just look at last night's game as an example. Who can you trust to stop these guys? That line is so dominant every time they're on the ice, and it gives each player more opportunity to get scoring chances. I mean, Bunting hit the score sheet, Marner hit the score sheet, Matthews hit the score sheet. Well, hey, if you got the best goal scorer in the game, how do you not like his chances of scoring again tonight against a team that sits in the same rank as the Toronto Maple Leafs with worse save percentage since January 8th? That's the Seattle Kraken. So lock it in. Matthews to score tonight.
That's awesome. No, definitely on that. Hit it last night. Wasn't much of a sweat. You saw the line buzzing, and obviously it goes. And like I said, they'll have to be in attack mode because Jack Campbell, and this is where we tiptoed the line. You know what I mean? Right. Jack Campbell is a great person. He's a great teammate, and he deserves every chance to come back. But sympathy doesn't help our bankroll. Yeah. And in this sense, Jack Campbell is just in a mental block. You could call it the yips, you could call whatever. We hope he gets out of it. But how hard is it for players? I know goalies are a special breed of athletes. How hard is it to get over this mental edge when it seems like you've been given so many chances and the results kind of tend to be the same?
Well, all you got to do is follow the Maple Leafs. It's been, almost 3 months that they've tried to get over this hump. And now it just becomes psychological. for a goaltender. And look, I didn't play the goaltending position, but I played with a lot of weird guys that play the goaltending position. And when you get in this type of funk, you're just looking to get a bounce. You're looking to catch a break. And just go back to last game on Saturday night, 4 goals went in that were deflected. And it's like when you're feeling good, those pucks stay out of the net. When you're not feeling too good, those pucks find a way in. So for the Maple Leafs, yes, it's going to be about scoring goals. It's going to be about playing better and stronger defensively in front of Jack Eichel, because the more you can emphasize the game in front of the goalie, it makes the game of the goalie a lot better. And right now, that's what they're struggling to find. Again, you talk about a nice bounce back. This is a great opportunity, great setup for Jack Campbell to have that bounce back game against a team like Seattle, who's playing like an expansion team. And, when you're scoring a lot of goals, the tendency is to be relaxed a little bit, like the Maple Leafs tend to be defensively, where you're going to give up the same amount of goals. Now, you hope it's not the same that they score, but Seattle's going to get their chances, which is why we like a certain player on their team.
Exactly. And because Seattle's offense is like in the bottom 5 in most metrics, 5-on-5, power play is terrible, we do get a ton of value. Even looking at the anytime goal scorer, you have 5 Leaf goal scorers before the first goal scorer for the Kraken, which is McCann. And right now, he's coming back. He leads the team in goals, leads the team in points. Right. Now, McCann, this will be his 3rd game coming back off the 10-day IR, IL, whatever you want to call it. How important is it, and how much better do you get your feet under you after getting, 2 games and catching back up to speed?
Well, look, it all depends on how long he was off. But clearly, anytime you take time off, it's going to take you, a couple games to get your rhythm and your speed back up to where it needs to be. And I think 3 games is enough. Like 3 games is normally a week. And I know when I used to come back of injury, I needed like 2 or 3 practices with the team to get myself back up to game mode. But, you talk about timing and, him coming back after 3 games of missing. It just broke before we went to air that he just got Jared McCann just got a new 5-year contract worth $5 million a year. If you need any extra motivation or any extra incentive to play a good game and hit the score sheet, there's no better one than that, than having that nice big ticket in your back pocket, which, again, it's extra motivation for him to play well, for his team to play well. And a nice thing that teams and players like to do before games is they like to put money on the board as extra incentive. You can imagine there's going to be big money on the board tonight for Jared McCann for not only a team win, but maybe a couple points by himself.
Yeah, nice to get 5 sheets a season with the Kraken. Probably the most, the biggest contract, obviously, there. But yeah, because of the Seattle offense, bottom 5 mark across the board, we get great value. And we don't even have to get his anytime goal that sits at plus 200. We can get a McCann point at plus 105. And anytime you can get, first number 1 line center,
right.
PP center, he just gets more touches. And secondary assist, he doesn't even have to contribute that much. But as we know, the Leafs are giving up goals.
And remember, there's a little bit of extra incentive here too as well. The Leafs traded for McCann, and then they lost him in the expansion draft to the Maple Leafs. So maybe there's a little bit of
there's a lot of McCann angles in
here, right?
Yeah, I like it. No, boom, McCann over. So yeah,
hey, McCann got paid today. Let's let our bettors get paid today with the over.
Yeah, let's do that.
Point.
Yeah, Matthews, McCann, love both of them. Boom, second game, big game. Florida at Pittsburgh. This game opened at a pick 'em. Florida's kind of moved slightly to the favorite, but Florida's coming off that game in Buffalo, kind of like an easy game. That road trip, Buffalo to Pittsburgh. Anything particular about that? Anything that gives
it's like I said about the Leafs. Like anytime you're getting on the road to go play it back-to-back, you feel a little better about yourself and your body when you win. And if you watched that game last night, it was an easy game for Florida. They rolled 4 lines. They rolled 6 defensemen. Not many guys got taxed. If anything, it was point night for them. They were having a blast. That trip to Pittsburgh is probably a half-hour flight. There's probably not much wear and tear on that. But, it's still a second game of a back-to-back. Now you got Bobrovsky that's probably going to enter the net. You've got Pittsburgh, a team that's played like one of the best teams in the league, sitting there waiting for you. They've come off a very impressive stretch. They went into Tampa last week. They spanked them 5-1. They had a hard-fought game in Carolina. The next night, lost in overtime to them. They've had a couple of days to sit on this. I expect this to be a really, really tough game for the Florida Panthers because you're going to have a really dialed-in Pittsburgh Penguins team, led by Sidney Crosby, led by Malkin, and a team, that is looking to climb the ranks into the standings. I know there's no divisional impact here, but when you look at points within the standings, Pittsburgh right now is sitting in second place staring at Carolina. These are big points for them, and no better way to get those big points than beating one of the best teams in the league that Florida represents.
Yeah, so there could be an angle here with Florida's offense trailing, which turns them into even a more elite offense. This is an offense that's averaging 39.1 shots per game since January, which is an insane number. To average almost 40 shots a game, that's incredible. And a lot of those shots are coming from the blue line in Aaron Ekblad. Now, the cool thing about Ekblad is, you've seen hockey change over the last time. Like, one of the craziest stats, I think, in hockey, Ray Bourque leads the NHL in shots on net, which is insane, career-wise. Nowadays, I think defensively, it's so hard to get shots through traffic. Positioning's become such a good thing. The use of the stick has become such a good thing. But like I said, Ekblad has become the most efficient shooter in the league. So I'm really liking his potential here. As we talked earlier, I think there's lots of potential for ozone time. He's 20% in the ozone, and that's a big thing. So how does the offense set up with the draw, and how much does that play into the structure of attack?
Well, look, I tend to agree with you. I like the Ekblad prop here because I see this game being a game that could potentially see Florida trailing, like you mentioned. But when you're looking at a guy like Ekblad, he has struggled point-wise lately. He's been dry. And so when you're the best defenseman on the team and you're one of the highest scoring defensemen in the league, what do you do to sort of help get out of those slumps? Well, you throw more pucks at the net because, the odds are one of those are going to go in. And you said it best. As a D-man, the hardest thing to do nowadays is to get shots on net because not only do you got to try to get it, on an angle to beat the goalie, you've got defensemen, you've got forwards in front of those goalies playing like goalies too. But the key to this and what is making Ekblad so good at it is, one, it's feet movement. He's for a big guy, he's really solid on his feet. But the other thing too is that it's the quickness of how you get those shots off. Very rare do I see Aaron Ekblad wind up and take a slap shot. Those quick little wristers, because you've got so much time and space being taken away from you from guys that are prioritizing shots blocked, there's a reason why he's second in defense in shots on goal per game is because that's something he's found to have a really good knack at is getting pucks through. And the best saying is by Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Well, if you're not taking those shots, you don't give yourself a chance. So for Ekblad, not only is he their anchor on the QB that may generate some point shots, he's really good at getting pucks through, but the potential of Florida trailing in this game is real, which means he's got to be up on the rush more. He's got to find more ways to get shots in the net. You know the way it is. You're trailing in the third period. It's all hands on deck, and you're pushing forward. So I like
especially for this Florida team. Especially for this Florida team that their third period comebacks are historical.
Oh, it's amazing. And look, they're one of the funnest teams in the league to watch just because of the way they play offense and the way they generate offense. So, and Aaron Ekblad is a big piece of it. He's a guy that's having a potential career year. He's sitting right now at 14 goals and 35 assists, 49 points. It's almost a point a game, 49 points in 55 games. He's been amazing. Absolutely amazing.
We're getting that shot price basically at the same as point price. 9 shots in the 2 meetings versus Pittsburgh this year. Like I said, he sits second in defensive shots on net, but he sits 11th in shot attempts. So he's efficient. He gets his pucks through better than anybody else.
Right.
15-6 to the over in his last 21 on 2.5 shots. Really like this. Really like the angle that Florida playing from behind changes into this offensive monster that can just roll 3 lines and just go with you. And then you have to worry about the back end coming up with him and Uyghur joining the rush. So absolutely. Ekblad over 2.5. Love that. That's going to be a battle of a game. And then our third game here. I love this game too. Rangers plus 130 at Minnesota minus 150. Minnesota has just been struggling, giving up goals. They've given up 3 or more goals in 11 straight. The resemblance between what they're doing and Toronto's doing is, you know what I mean? There's some parallel lines there.
Right.
Absolutely. So the best thing that we've seen here is that the penalty kill for Minnesota has just been atrocious. They've allowed
atrocious. Even their coach called them out.
Yeah, like it's been so bad. Like they've allowed multi-power play goals 4 times in their last 5 games. Like it's not bad. It's epically bad. And it starts in the back end, obviously, in goaltending. So when you have these goaltending struggles, can a PK really get back on its feet without the help of your best penalty killer?
Well, like you said, they're facing some of the same struggles that the Maple Leafs are facing. They can't get a save, right? And sometimes your best penalty killers are your goalies. And when you talk about the amount of goals that they're giving up and combine them with the power play goals, you got to like the 4th best power play in the league with the Rangers coming in tonight to get some power play points. And you mentioned Panarin and the streak that he's on right now. What was it? The last 9 games, he's got a power play point?
So the last 13 games that the Rangers have scored a power play goal, he has recorded a point in every one of them.
There you go. Like You're talking about the trigger man, right? He's the general, the guy that you want to have the puck on your stick, because not only can he score, but he's the guy setting up the other guy's plays to score too. So against a really struggling penalty kill, and believe me, that can play a toll on you, because there's a good old saying too that coaches before the game, when you're pre-scouting, you're saying, guys, against a team that's this good on the power play and as bad as we are in the penalty kill, we got to find a way to win the special teams war. And when things aren't going well for you, you're not getting saves, it's going to be continuously hard to keep the puck out of your net. But, you look at Minnesota right now, they've won 1 game out of their last 7, but they're giving up, on average 4 goals a game. And, if you watch the game on Sunday, they were playing Dallas. They pulled the goalie with 10 minutes left, down 4-1. So
I hit that over. That was amazing.
Right. You love that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So you got to think that there's going to be goals in this game. And you got to think that there's a mindset right now with the coaches that, hey, you know what? If we find ourselves down, we believe we can score goals. So we're going to do whatever we can to make sure we stay in games, which is why this prop right here is with Panarin over 0.5 at +30 is too good of a value to pass up. I mean, you could even try sprinkling some money on Adam Fox too, because he's the trigger man back on the point, and he's a big catalyst to their power play success. But the guy who owns the puck is the general out there. The playmaker, the creator, who's Panarin, great value that we're getting here.
Yeah, every touch goes through him on the power play down in the half boards. He's a magician down there. You know what I mean? And you got Kreider banging in goals in front, or if they collapse, he goes up top to Fox. So they have so many options. And this is a New York team that isn't great at 5-on-5. Actually, some of the worst statistics 5-on-5 metrics wise. But they rely so heavily on the power play, and they're coming into a fantastic matchup.
Right.
Tonight, in a game that could get out of hand if Minnesota decides to take a few penalties.
And believe me, if you're Minnesota, you're saying, man, we've given up a lot of goals lately. We got this firepower coming in. There's probably going to be a little bit more focus defensively for Minnesota, but regardless how much you focus defensively, if you're not getting a save from any of their goalies, which they haven't been able to do lately, it ain't going to stop much, and especially one of the best players in the league in Panarin.
No, I think that's a great value at +130. It's as low as +110 in some other books I saw. So really like Panarin. Like I said, the offense runs through him. I really like tonight's board, and I think we went over it quite well. There's a lot of things to look at. So I appreciate all the time. And that will do it for us on Covers as Puck Props. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Let us know what you think in the comments. Give us a follow at Covers_Josh and at Carlo Colaiacovo. Thanks as always, Coco, and we'll see you again soon.
Jingles.